Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. It's my great pleasure now to actually introduce Professor Saskia Sassen, who is going to be our first keynote speaker. When Arijit and myself started to discuss our common interest a few months, close to 2 years, maybe, I didn't remember that long, but maybe, indeed. And we started to entertain the idea of a conference that we would do here in the ESSEC Asian campus on the interplay between globalization and geography. We really immediately talked about and thought about Saskia Sassen as the perfect keynote speaker for such a conference. So we sent her an email, you know, have to dare in life. We sent her an email, and even though neither of us had met her before, she answered very rapidly and, even more important to us, positively. So we were very happy about that, and I would like to thank her again for accepting to be here. We are very privileged to have Saskia Sassen with us during this conference. We know from what Arijit has said also before that the keynote that she will do for us today will introduce and will foster rich and provocative discussions that we will certainly continue tomorrow. And by the way, you're all welcome to the follow-up of the conference tomorrow. We also are at ESSEC as an institution here. I'm taking a bit more of the institutional hat at ESSEC Asia, being a new kid on the block here in Singapore. We're also very happy that it was possible for the Lee Kuan Yew Center for Innovative Cities to take the opportunity of this visit so that Saskia Sassen could also talk of global cities and their challenges, which obviously in Singapore is a very important issue, and of which obviously you all know that Saskia Sassen is one of the world experts on these types of issues. So a few words on Saskia Sassen, even though obviously she doesn't need much with respect to introduction, but let me still say a few words. Saskia Sassen is the Robert Lynn Professor of Sociology and the co-chair of the Committee on Global Thought at Columbia University. She's also a visiting professor at the London School of Economics. I think we could describe Professor Sassen as a global citizen and global scholar, living in several global cities and traveling to all the other global cities of the world. Her work on globalization, immigration, global cities, new network technologies, and changing national states is known across the world, and it has been published in many different formats and outlets. And obviously, I'm not going to go through a whole list because this would take us until quite late tonight. I will nevertheless mention only some of the more recent books, and particularly the ones that I see as extremely relevant to our discussions in the coming days. So first, there are two books that I want to mention on the topic of global cities. The seminal book by Saskia Sassen on the global city, the title of which is The Global City, was first published in 1991 and went through a second edition in 2001. Another book titled Cities in a World Economy, which, if I'm not mistaken, went through a fourth edition very recently in 2011 and was, as a first edition, I think, in 1994. A second set of books that I want to mention have to do with the topics of globalization and territory, and are also obviously very closely related to our discussions and debate in the coming days. The award-winning book, which I think is right here, Territory, Authority and Rights from Medieval to Global Assemblage, published originally in 2006. A Sociology of Globalization, published in 2007. And if I understand correctly, something we are all awaiting with great interest, a current project that is provisionally titled When Territory Exits Existing Framings. That should be published with Harvard University Press. Professor Sassen, what can I say more? She's received Dr. honoris causa from universities across the world. She regularly writes for the media, contributes in particular to Open Democracy and Huffington Post. In 2001, she was named one of the foreign policy magazine's top 100 thinkers. She is one of the foremost and most original scholars of globalization. You all know that. She's thinking the inscription of the local in the global in the local, in particular, what she calls the denationalization process. According to Saskia Sassen, an understanding of globalization that sees the global and the national as two mutually exclusive conditions is essentially inadequate. To quote her, the global, whether an institution, a process, a discursive practice, or an imaginary, can partly inhabit national territories and institutions. And obviously, this particular understanding of globalization has significantly inspired the way we've been thinking about the conference and the framing, the general framing of the conference that will start today. I would like to finish on a more personal note. For me, throughout my scholarly career, Saskia Sassen has been somebody who has made me think and rethink what I thought I knew and what I thought I believed. When reading Saskia Sassen, what I realized is that I've never been able to indulge in comfortable, taken-for-granted notions or ideas, and I would like to personally thank her for that. Professor Saskia Sassen, it's my pleasure to invite you here.